Family, good morning. It's Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Today is Saturday. It is October 11th. It is 7:31 in the morning. I hope that you had time for some rest as we get ready for game day right here on Bama Football on YouTube. This won't be a long video, probably be somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes before the actual college game day. But this is a pivotal game. Clearly, as you know, Alabama taking on Columbia, going to Columbia rather to take on the Missouri Tigers, who are undefeated on the season. And I think when you look at this matchup, you can start a lot of different places. And one of the things that we know is that Alabama has to stop the run, and clearly Missouri has to stop the pass, right? Those are kind of the two competing storylines going into this game. Let's go over to the full screen monitor and look at the college football slate today for Saturday, October 11th. You have Alabama taking on Missouri. That game will be at 11 a.m. These morning starts. I don't mind them, to be honest. I don't mind the morning starts. Then you also have Washington taking on Ole Miss in another game that is at 11:45, which is kind of a weird timing. Kickoff for that game at Hemingway Stadium is 73 degrees. A big one today on ABC will be Oklahoma and Texas. I think there's a lot of storylines going on with that game. Clearly, with John Mateer being probable, meaning that I think he's going to play, right? So you have two. I was going to say quality quarterbacks, but I don't know if Arch Manning right now is, playing up to the standard. But I think in terms of SEC play, that's a game that has a lot of impact, I think, around the nation. I think that's really going to tell us where Texas stands as a program. And think about it like this. If Texas loses today, they will drop to 3-3 on the season and 0-2 in SEC play. Something that we didn't anticipate happening this year, right? I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that Texas would be kind of on the upper echelon of college football. So I think this is probably the biggest failure, if they lose today in college football right now, is Steve Sarkisian and what's going on at Texas. A huge surprise, to be honest. So I asked the crew last night on the nightcap who they thought would win. I think a lot of people thinking Oklahoma. A lot of it depends on the health, clearly, of John Mateer, the quarterback who was injured a couple weeks ago. The line currently is Texas 1.5. That is the Red River rivalry game at 2:30. Also, when we look to the monitor, you got Arkansas taking on Tennessee. That's another SEC matchup, clearly. And I think we probably watched that game because, as you know, after this game today, Alabama will turn the page and they will play Tennessee. I think Tennessee is kind of a team that is a little bit under the radar. Now, they lost that game to Georgia, right, in overtime, and I think they had opportunities to win that game there at the end. And if you think about it, man, Tennessee's probably that game away from being undefeated on the season. And really, if you look at it like that, I mean, and they should have won that game, right? They missed the field goal. I'm talking about Tennessee right here. So they missed this field goal. I mean, theoretically, and they're going to beat Arkansas today, unless there's just some sort of crazy upset. So that would mean that Tennessee theoretically could be 6-0 by the time Alabama played them, which would be amazing because Alabama just played undefeated Vanderbilt. Then they played undefeated Missouri. Then they'd play undefeated Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is a very good football team. I watched them a couple times. I think Joey Aguilar is another good quarterback that Ty Simpson will have to outduel, but that's kind of far away, right? Other games in the SEC, you have Florida taking on Texas A&M. Billy Napier, nobody coaches better when his back is against the wall than Billy Napier, right? I mean, Billy Napier, my goodness, we thought he was going to get fired, and then he's able to beat Texas. Today, they'll take on Mike Elko and Texas A&M, a team that is ranked number 5. When I look at Texas A&M, there's still a team for me that is a little bit, I would say, the jury is still out. Yeah, this is live, dog. Good morning, Sam. It's like, that is crazy. Do you guys not think I'm live? Like, why is... I'm live. If you're in the comment box, good morning to everybody. Has anybody had their chance to have omelets yet? What time do you do your omelets? What time do you do your breakfast? No, this is live. We were last night. We were live. Today we're live. We live, dog. They ain't scheduled. They live. We want to be here. Air Jordan, what's up, man? I appreciate you checking in from Richmond. As you know, I used to live in Alexandria. What's up to our Virginia peeps? Georgia and Auburn. Georgia and Auburn, I would tell you what, this is I'm not surprised to see this line over here at 4.5 because Auburn will play these dudes tight. And I've heard Kirby Smart say before, he was like, man, these dudes are tough. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter for whatever reason. I know Auburn's 0-2. It doesn't matter. Auburn plays tough at Jordan-Hare. I don't care. I know, what's at stake in terms of rivalry and stuff. I don't care, man. These guys play tough at home. That's why those are the type of games that make me nervous, is like the game at the barn later on in the season. All right, you got South Carolina taking on LSU in the back end game. I'm curious to see what that game is. Now, I see the line is 9.5. I guess, Vegas expecting LSU to run away with it. But does South Carolina just fall down, right? Does South Carolina just kind of turn it in? They would be 1-3 on the season, right? If they lose that game, all right? We'll go elsewhere in the top 25, and then we'll talk some Bama, Missouri, make some last-minute, final thoughts on this game. I can't wait. I'm super excited. As you know, we've been talking about this game for a long time coming now, and here it is, Alabama, Missouri. I didn't anticipate Missouri to be 5-0, but then again, when you look to their schedule, you can kind of understand why, and I'll get to that in a minute. Air Jordan, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Samuel, good morning. PK, Ziff, Kevin, and Tanner and Lindsay, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The national schedule looks like this. You have Ohio State taking on Illinois. Look, does anybody out there, it's hard for me to see a team like Illinois, a team like Indiana, continue to be ranked within the top 20. Indiana is ranked above Alabama, and I'm like, how? Now, with that said, I like their quarterback. I think he's a good player, and I like their coach. I do not think that they're a top 10 team. I think they will get exposed today by Oregon, and then I think they play Penn State in a couple weeks. But other than that, Indiana has such a light schedule for their talent that is a playoff team for sure. When we go back to the full board, you got clearly this game we're talking about today, Alabama and Missouri. You have Pittsburgh and Florida State. Is this a game worth watching? Sure. Not at the same time at 11, but you're looking at what the score is. You're looking to see how Florida State responds as a team, considering that they've lost their first two ACC teams. So I guess, did we expect Florida State to have a kind of crash out after Alabama? To be honest, it kind of makes sense. After they beat Alabama, and I think when a lot of people beat Alabama, I think they feel that they have arrived. You haven't. It is a one-game season. I think you build, and it helps the brand when you beat Alabama. But in terms of you're there, you're not. Clearly something's going on at Florida State. Call me crazy, I still think that they're a good football team. Clearly they're out of the ACC championship. Honestly, they're out of the playoffs. Florida State is out because you have Miami, who's not going to lose a game, and Georgia Tech. I don't think they're going to lose a game in the ACC either, and I don't think the ACC gets 3 teams into the playoffs, right? We got a little morning love coming in from Eric, man. What's up? I appreciate you coming in to us from Ohio. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it. And I know that's probably an interesting take, not saying, Florida State is a bad team. I don't. I think they got weapons on that team. Deuce Robinson's a beast. Tommy Castellanos, he's good. They got a handful of running backs. They're a fast team. I think they just ate rat poison. And rat poison is tasty, I'm telling you. And if you eat that rat poison early, it does a lot of things to you. So it's kind of a game worth watching today. Eric, I appreciate the super chat. Washington State taking on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that is flying under the radar, right? They are 5-0 on the season. They're ranked number 4, right? Look, they need to get, you know what? Ole Miss needs to get Ryan Williams, PR manager, because every single day we talk about Ryan Williams. I guarantee you, when College Game Day starts here at 8 a.m. Central Time, the entire show will be about Ryan Williams and if he's going to play today. They have the best PR. It's the drops. It's the this. It's the that. It's the NIL. Today it'll be. Nobody stops talking. That's what Ole Miss needs to do. They need to figure out how to be, how to get people to watch this team. Look, I've watched them a couple times. They're pretty good. Look at this line. 31.5. I get it. They're playing Washington State, but does Ole Miss have something cooking? Is this team legitimate, Ole Miss? Are they kind of a sleeper team in the SEC? Maybe, I'm sure Lane Kiffin is loving it, right? Indiana and Oregon, as I spoke about, 7 versus 3. I can't believe Indiana is ranked above Alabama. The line over here is 7.5. I think Oregon probably does bad things to Indiana, especially with the game being out in Eugene. We talked about the Red River rivalry. This is a team to watch. I'm telling you, Georgia Tech, they beat Wake Forest in overtime, which was interesting, but they are undefeated. And if you look at their schedule, you'll start to kind of realize that Georgia Tech's not going to lose a lot of games. I think on the back end, they played Georgia right before if they would qualify for the ACC championship. So it would be Georgia and then Miami. Those would be 2 tall tasks for a former Coach Saban assistant, right, in Brent Key, who I think he's got a pretty good gig right there. I'm telling you, this team right here, Notre Dame, this is a team to watch. They're 23.5-point favorite. Everybody loves them. The media loves them. Coach Saban loves them. Everybody loves Notre Dame, except me. And what's going to happen, the more games that this team win, the higher they climb. This team, nobody jumps higher after a win than Notre Dame. Alabama go up like 1 spot. Notre Dame go up like 6 spots. Okay, they're taking on NC State. People are pulling for them. They want this team to be in the playoffs, period. Iowa State and Colorado, this is a Big 12 game. Colorado's 0-3 in Big 12. Not surprised by that. Kansas taking on undefeated Texas Tech, 14.5-point favorite. Coach Saban said that this team is really good. I think I've seen them a couple times. I haven't really dove into Texas Tech. I'm surprised that they're in the top 10, to be honest. I like this team. I don't know if they could survive in the SEC. That's going to be my argument going forward. Michigan taking on USC. Michigan, Michigan isn't as good as I thought. Like, this kind of program is kind of taking a step back. But I'll tell you what, Bryce Underwood and Justice Haynes, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch those guys are very good. I mean, Justice Haynes is having that season for Michigan. All right, so thanks for checking in this morning. I appreciate the morning crew. I am a morning person, by the way. It's not hard for me to wake up and get things done in the morning. I understand that there's not a lot of people here, but I'm here for it, and I appreciate you guys being here. Bama Football on YouTube every day at 10 a.m. Central Time right here on Bama Football on YouTube Monday through Friday. And then, of course, different shows as different elements pop up throughout the week. We will be live during the game starting at 11 a.m. this morning. Here is the kickoff temperature for today, courtesy of North Alabama Storm Chase. You got a 63 degree temperature for the tailgate, which is absolutely perfect. You have a game time kick of 70 degrees, and the fourth quarter will be 75 in Columbia, Missouri. One of the biggest questions is, how is Missouri going to play Alabama, considering they haven't played a team of this caliber, right? When you look to Missouri's schedule, they got Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, I think is their most notable win, clearly, in a game that I honestly watched. And when I watched that game against South Carolina, I'm talking South Carolina, Missouri, I left thinking each was a good football team, to be honest. And I think we're kind of, people are losing sight of South Carolina. But I think that was a good football game. And I felt that each team was a little bit more even. I mean, it was 29-20. So I still think the game in another Columbia, South Carolina, will be a challenge that's coming up here in a couple weeks. I just think that's a team that can punch above their belt with the quarterback if he is playing at a high level, right? We remember that last year. South Carolina, I thought, was a good team. So Missouri beating them 29-20, that does stand out to me. But overall, they haven't played on the road, which is crazy. How have they not played an away game? This is wild. I have never seen this, right? Isn't that crazy? They've never played an away game this season. And they'll host another one. So 6 consecutive. Is this crazy? Do they go 6 games on the road? Okay, their first game is against Auburn and then Vanderbilt, and then they're back home. This is crazy. These guys, their first 7, that's crazy. Their first 8 out of 10 games are at home. How do you even do that? That's wild. When you look to Missouri, they got a really good quarterback, as I've been explaining. I think he's similar to, he's kind of like a blend of Diego and Ty. He can move around a little bit. He's good. Bo Perbula, so 1,200 yards on the season, 3 interceptions, all which have come in his last 3 games. Ahmad Hardy will be the guy that we're all watching today. This guy is an absolute menace. 103 carries for 730 yards in 5 games, which is absolute work. And then watch this guy right here, Kevin Coleman. If you were playing fantasy football, you would want this guy because he has 40 receptions in the first 5 games of the season. Specifically on third down, this guy is going to get the football. All right, when we dive into the game, now I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for kicking it with me this morning. Remember, at 11 a.m. Central Time this morning, I will be live again for my watch-along. And then after that, we'll do our post-game watch-along. So it doesn't stop right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I don't know if you guys were watching last night, if you caught a video, but my daughter, she auditioned for Annie. She was cast for Annie this summer in a summer camp, which we're really proud about. And then she, here at the Bama Theater in Tuscaloosa, she auditioned for Annie Jr. She's 12. And she had to do a monologue, a dance, and singing last night. So she did that last night. And, callbacks come back after that. There was 140 kids that tried out. And Lacey, to no surprise, got a callback. So she will be going this morning at 8:30 for another opportunity to solidify a position for Annie Jr. There's several characters that you can get. Clearly, the lead role, is Annie. But yeah, we're really excited about her. My goodness. I mean, out of 140 kids. And I said that last night. So as you know, I'm a proud dad. Dad life, the best life. When you look to Missouri, this is the guy I was talking about, Kevin Coleman Jr. right here at the slot position. Alabama is going to really have to watch him and keep an eye on him specifically on third downs. And why is third down important? Well, third down defense kind of tells the story of the game. Same thing on the offensive side. If they continue to pick up small little chunk yardage plays and move the chains, allowing Ahmad Hardy to do work, that puts you in a dangerous position because that's the time of possession, right? So you have to be able to stop this guy at all time. You have to be watching for you. You have to be watching for this guy. Whoever is the inside corner today has to have a really good game. I don't know if that's Deshaun Jones or what they're going to do there, but watch for this guy. I'm telling you, this guy over here, number 2, if you haven't watched their tape, just wait. This guy is a playmaker. This guy is a baller. And then right here, 87, this guy is a very good, capable tight end as well. Here's Perbula, and here is Ahmad Hardy. So, that's 5 guys right there that I just listed on the offensive side that are very, very talented. Of course, the offensive line has to protect. How is Alabama going to fare in pass rush? As I've spoken about, this particular game, as you see, it's 17-12. Missouri is down in this particular situation. Looks like South Carolina for the most part. I mean, maybe these guys are getting kind of a push right here. This guy gets to about here. He is stopped by everybody in his tracks, and he powers through for a touchdown. As I said, 730 yards in 5 games. I don't care who you were playing. That guy is the beast. I love the challenge today for Alabama to be able to try to stop a running back like Ahmad Hardy. I don't know, kind of looking at the schedule far out, you're going to play some other good running backs, but I don't think anybody as kind of full contact as Hardy. So they better bring it today. They better wrap up and make sure to get him down because Ahmad Hardy will do damage if he's allowed. I think he's better than Dylan Sampson of Tennessee. Remember last year, they fed Dylan Sampson. One of their game plans was to get him the ball over 20 times last year, and they did that, and Tennessee was able to beat Alabama. So I think he's a better running back than Dylan Sampson, but then again, I think Alabama's defense has shown signs to be better. One thing that you will see today, and they have to do it, what they have to do it is Missouri's defense has to get after Ty Simpson. And they did a really good job getting after Lenore Sellers. So, and I was happy to see Ty during one of his interviews this week talk about Missouri's defense. And he listed 8 and he listed 7, okay? These guys are in charge of Missouri's pass rush. And they are absolute beasts, okay? This guy is going to be a problem 7. This guy is going to be a problem. Ty has to get the ball out. He has to make good decisions. And he has to know, quite frankly, when to just dump it, okay? So watch for 8 and 7 coming. If these guys get to Ty, They will impact the game. They will impact the offense. This is probably one of the biggest keys of the game. After Alabama stopping Hardy, I think Missouri getting to tie is another pivotal point in a true marker of this game. So big test for Alabama's offensive line. And as we've spoken about all week, how is Alabama's offensive line coming along? Who's going to be at right guard? Who's going to be at right tackle for the duration of the game? Will we see Michael Carroll come in as a freshman? Will we see Jaden Roberts come off the bench and play a little bit more? I think Grubb said that he should play a little bit more, right? And I'm talking about Jaden Roberts. We'll go full screen and look at Alabama, the remainder of their schedule. I haven't updated these rankings. I did this at one point. We asked ChatGPT. Maybe they might be updated. Yeah, I think they are updated. Okay. So in blue represents the team that Alabama played. That's the ranking when Alabama played them, right? So Georgia was 5, Vanderbilt was 16. That makes sense? And we asked a long time ago, ChatGPT, what does Alabama's schedule kind of look like? And ChatGPT was very bullish on Alabama the rest of the way. So here's kind of a outlook. They have a 75% chance to win today, 70% chance. I mean, all that is rat poison, but I think what I'm trying to show you here is how difficult the challenge is. And you know that. The gauntlet it continues today. It's a one-game season, and you have to take care of business. The percentage and all that stuff, that is external noise, okay? It's fun for us to look at, right? I think for Alabama on their side of the ball, I mean, you really have to come up with big plays once again. This defense, look, we all know, inside the comment box, right? Like, you know that the defense, that the offense is going to come up with big plays, right? Like, you just know that, right? Well, like, it would be shocking if the offense doesn't come up with like a 40-yard touchdown or something. Like, they're so dangerous every time they get the football. I think the defense has to match that once again. Over the last 2 weeks, you've seen Alabama's defense rise up, right? LT Overton making a really good play against Georgia. Keon Sabb right here. I think you could see him in the next frame. Coming up with an interception against Vanderbilt. Like, this has to be done on a continuing basis to be able to survive the SEC. These guys have kind of had a bend but don't break defense, and you have to carry that on to today. Whether that's a stripped ball, a huge quarterback sack, a pick six, the defense has to come up with big plays today. You have to feed Jam Miller 1,000,000%. I think this is, I keep talking about this. Do not get away from running the ball today. If you're able to establish a lead on Missouri, feed Jam Miller. Do not go away from it. And, I have to be honest. This is kind of something that I am watching. It feels at times, well, I guess I had, maybe last game. I felt that they should have went to Jam when they were kind of creating space from Vanderbilt, and it seemed like they were passing a little bit more. Don't be afraid to run the ball, specifically in the red zone. I mean, and look, Ryan Grubb addressed that their red zone play wasn't elite. Look, keep the ball on the ground, move the sticks, utilize your tight end. Josh Cuevas is very good. Don't be afraid to use screens against Missouri. Did you hear what I said? Will somebody please keep receipts on this? Please. Okay? I've watched Missouri's defense. They send pressure. One thing that can take your defense away is if anybody runs a screen. I would run a screen early in the first half on a pressure down, like a third down, to Kevin Riley. And I know I have Jam here, but if you throw a screen will hurt this team. I promise you. There's your big play, right? And Kane Womack, once again, has to come with it. He has to be able to make adjustments in the second half. This has to be our guy today. He has a lot of momentum right now. You can't lose that momentum, and another opportunity for him to solidify himself as a defensive coordinator that we really believe in. Because right now I think we're all cautiously optimistic that he's getting a little bit better. But I think deep down we're like, I don't know. I still have no idea if he is really the guy. Well, the last 2 weeks, the defense has taken steps forward, right? And when you only allow 14 points to Vanderbilt, only 21 to Georgia on the road, I think it is telling. Will we see another gadget play to Caden Proctor? Within the last 2 weeks, we've seen a gadget play. He's caught a pass, which is really a run because it was behind the line of scrimmage, but you know what I'm saying. And then we've also seen him run the ball from 2 yards out. So I didn't anticipate Ryan Grubb having as many gadget plays as he likes to, but this guy's a gadget mastermind. I'm kind of like 50-50 on the gadgets. I do like this stuff to Proctor. I think it's fun to talk about and to see. But sometimes just keep it simple. Keep it simple when you're on the road, because I'll tell you what, a gadget play that doesn't work takes away momentum the same way a missed field goal does or allowing quarterback sack. It really does. So I'm like, being cute, yeah, it's cool, kind of when you have the lead or whatever, or when you're playing a lesser opponent. But better teams will shut down. That's why you never see gadgetry in the NFL. I mean, you see it from time to time, but the players are too fast. They shut these things down immediately. So will we see another gadget play from Caden Proctor? Probably in the future. I don't know. Here's a look at kind of the college football playoff picture based off the AP poll. There's a lot of good teams on this map right here. Most of them are from the SEC. There's 6 teams from the SEC. I think when you look to college football in general, one of the things that you're going to see is the SEC start to cannibalize each other. And unfortunately, some of those teams are not going to make the playoffs. I mean, I guess it benefits if Alabama does make it, so you don't have to play like, I don't know, Oklahoma or Texas A&M in the first round, or a weird SEC first-round matchup, you know, if they should get there. But I still feel that Alabama is in a really great spot, clearly. But I think a lot of SEC teams are as well. There's so many teams in the SEC right now that control its own destiny, right? What is there, 6 or 7 undefeated teams in the SEC, which is crazy. I love this graphic by North Alabama Storm Chase. The black hoodie effect. Will it strike again today in Missouri? And as you know, Coach Kalen DeBoer was asked about the black hoodie by Eli Drinkwitz, right? During the SEC teleconference on Wednesday. He was like, hey, Coach, are you wearing this black hoodie? Yo, you got to. He said the black hoodie kind of has a mind of its own. So will it be another RIP to Missouri? I think we all feel, I mean, at least I feel confident. And I told you why, right? I mean, I explained the many different reasons, and I'll go over it one more time before I bounce out. For the injury report right here, you have Ryan Williams still listed as probable. Jalen Mbakwe, he is out. Quay is out. New to the list is Jalen Hell, who's not pictured on here. This was from the Thursday report, but the Friday report had Jalen Hell also listed. I don't know what's happening with Jalen Hell. He didn't travel to Georgia. He's not traveling to Missouri. He didn't play any offensive snaps last week. I think he's just buried on the depth chart. Doesn't seem complicated to me. Same with Jalen Mbakwe. And I think when players don't play, I think the first thing that people think about is like, is this guy going to transfer? I don't know, right? If they're patient, they'll probably play later on this season. And if they're patient, they'll play, you know, after some guys have left. It's hard to play here. That's just, you have to understand that. You can't be afraid to come here to compete. So those are things that we watch. Hopefully those guys don't bounce out, and we'll see what happens. All right, kind of wrapping up here. Missouri is 5-0, second in total defense, fourth in total offense, seventh in scoring, 16th scoring defense in the country, first on third down conversions, 12th in the red zone, and number 1 in the country in time of possession. Right, all really, really good stats against a schedule that doesn't scream, you know, extremely hard, but numbers are numbers, right? We talked about Jalen Mbakwe. Here's my over-under for the day. As you know, the video is powered by Sleeper. I have Ty Simpson going over 285 yards. I have Jeremy Bernard going for over 62 yards receiving. Bo Pribula, I'll keep him under 200 yards. That's one of the ones that I'm watching today on my personal parlay. So a couple final points. Joel Klatt earlier, I think this was this week, had something to say about Alabama. And he said this, look, if you just go blind off the resumes between the two teams, there is no way that you pick Alabama to beat Missouri. I pointed out recently that if you do go by Pro Football Focus numbers single-handedly, you don't pick Alabama against Vanderbilt. You don't pick Alabama against Georgia. You don't pick Vanderbilt, or you don't pick Alabama against Missouri. You just don't. Those teams have better numbers and slightly better grades at this point in time. But at the end of the day, right, you see that Alabama once again has continued to be the aggressor. Alabama has been the team that has punched harder, as Coach Kalen DeBoer has discussed, and today will be another opportunity to beat a top 25 team. Now, the king of college football, Josh Pate, said this: the fears that you normally have about Georgia, you should actually have about Missouri. Yeah, look, I think what he's saying here is to get the old ideas out of, like, these teams, have played a weak schedule and they're not good football teams. Yo, Pate is right. This is a good football team, a very good football team. They have a lot of weapons. As I explained, their defense is going to come at you. I think their secondary hasn't been tested, but this is a good team. So definitely have to understand what's at stake today. You're not just playing kind of a powder puff team that just has a good schedule. This is a good football team, right? With that said, I'm pretty bullish. And I say this: Missouri is good, but they ain't great. Okay, they're about to meet the Bama buzzsaw. I think the way that this particular team is playing, they're starting to tell the nation we are finding our rhythm. We are on a right trajectory with offense. Our defense is starting to come around, and I think that they're close to becoming this buzzsaw that is going to be an absolute problem for many teams in college football. I think when you continue to watch Alabama week by week on a progression, you start to see that they're getting better. One addition that made Alabama's offense better was the return of Jam Miller. I mean, he's going to shine today again if he is given opportunities. So look, they're not there yet. This team is on the right track, and that's why I have a final score prediction today of 34-14. I know that it's probably different from a lot of different analysts out there. It might seem a little bit fancy, but I feel confident in Alabama's ability to execute today here in 3 hours against Missouri. So I have it 34-14. That's my score prediction. Feel comfortable and confident about it. I think Alabama is able to showcase once again to the nation that this is a team that is moving in the right direction. And as I always say, the job is not done. They're able to beat Missouri today. That's it. Like, get ready for Tennessee. Tennessee's a very good football team. So it's a one-game season. You don't want to lose on the road. Coach Kalen DeBoer's record at Alabama on the road is 3-5, right? So a lot at stake in this game, and I know you guys want to get over and watch Coach Saban on College Game Day and Pat McAfee, as do I. So I'll turn the keys over to College Game Day. I don't want to compete with their ratings. The 65 and the crew, I appreciate you guys being here. Remember, 15 minutes before kickoff today, 10:45, I'll be eating an omelet with you right here on the watch along. So I hope that you enjoyed our short preview for Alabama and Missouri at 11 a.m. on you can watch the watch along right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So I'll catch up with you guys soon. Enjoy game day. Enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your coffee. Go for a walk. Get a workout in. We got work to do today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me in the morning session. Drop a thumbs up on this video and think about becoming a fan funder. Let me see if I can bring the fan funder page up real quick before you guys dip out. And stick around for my outro, because I got the outro coming up soon. If you want to become a fan funder, you can hit the join button. This really helps me, along with the super chats during the shows, right? Hit the join. There's many different tiers that you can join to support the show, and I'd really appreciate your guys' consideration. Thank you so much for thinking about that. All right, you guys ready for the outro? Thumbs up if you guys are. All right, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Saturday, October 11th, which is game day, right here for Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. And with that said, we got the outro right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Love you, fam. Thanks for watching. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. It's game day. Get up. Get the coffee. We got an 11 egg kick right here